Yo, what's good everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be breaking down the Nhl Dfs slate for Thursday, December 15th. We got ourselves a massive 12-game slate here tonight, where I'm going to go through a couple of my favorite line stacks, some of my favorite individual plays, and some of my favorite value plays, and then we'll wrap up the video talking a little prize picks. With that being said, let's dive into my spreadsheet here. And we're going to kick things off here like we always do in the top left-hand corner with those highest implied game totals, where you can see 4 of these games are coming in with an implied total of 6.5 goals. 7 games coming in at 6 goals even, and then just 1 game there between the Kraken and Hurricanes coming in at 5.5. And then take a look down here at the Vegas odds, where you can see each team who's favored to win tonight. With that being said, let's dive into a couple of line stacks that I like here for tonight, starting with that first line for the Tampa Bay Lightning. We got point centering Hagel and Kucherov. The Lightning got a great matchup at home here tonight against the Columbus Blue Jackets, who've allowed 4.07 goals per game this season, the second most in the NHL. And this line's playing pretty damn well right now, having combined for 13 goals, 20 assists, 33 points in their past 10 games. And all 3 of these guys remain on that number 1 power play, so it's a very strongly correlated line. And that number 1 power play has been very good for Tampa this year, scoring at a 28% rate, the 5th best in the NHL. And then another line stack I like here tonight is that second line for the Boston Bruins. David Krejci is expected back here tonight, and he's going to be centering Zacha and Pastrnak. These 3 have played well together really all year long. You can see in their past 10 games they've combined for 14 goals, 17 assists, 31 points, and I like the matchup here tonight as well at home for them against the Los Angeles Kings, who have struggled defensively this year, have not been good on the penalty kill, allowing 3.69 goals per game, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 70% rate. Both of those are the 5th worst in the NHL. Now we're going to see Pasta play up on that number 1 power play tonight, whereas Krejci and Zacha will play down on the second. Now folks, before we dive into some of my favorite individual plays there, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. We're 2.5 months into the NHL season so far, but still a long way to go, and I'm going to have hockey content coming out for you guys all year long. Alright, now diving into some of these individual plays here, we're going to kick it off with the forwards. First guy I got there is Sidney Crosby of the Pittsburgh Penguins. 35 years old, and he's still one of the best players in the NHL. He now has 38 points through 29 games, leads the league in even strength points, which is kind of crazy to think. That power play gets going for the Pittsburgh Penguins, he's only going to rack up more. Now he's got 7 goals, 4 assists, 11 points here in his past 10, and I really like the way he's been shooting the puck as of late, averaging around 3.5, 4 shots on net per game, and close to 15 DraftKings points per game, and he's hit 23 plus DraftKings points now in 3 of his last 5 games. Obviously, he plays up on that first line in number 1 power play and should log around 19 minutes tonight. I then got Zach Hyman there of the Edmonton Oilers, who remains on that first line with McDavid and Draisaitl. Those 3 have been tearing it up together. Not only does Hyman have 33 points through 29 games, he's got 4 goals, 10 assists, 14 points in his past 10. He's averaging around 5 shots on net per game over his past 10 too, just firing the puck from all angles, and he's coming fresh off a hat trick too. So I don't know what I have to say negative about that first line for Edmonton right now, because they got a great matchup tonight at home against the St. Louis Blues, who've allowed 3.72 goals per game this season, 4th most in the NHL, with a penalty kill that's really struggled as well, just hitting at a 68% rate, and no power play has been better than the Edmonton Oilers this year, scoring at a 31.5% rate. Next, I got Jonathan Marchessault there of the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas sitting in a nice spot tonight as well against the Chicago Blackhawks, who've allowed 3.67 goals per game this season, the 6th most in the NHL, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 73% rate. Marchessault plays down on the second line, but plays up on the number 1 power play, and with Eichel still out again tonight, Marchessault becomes a shooter on that number 1 power play. Not that he isn't a shooter when Eichel's in the lineup, because he definitely is, but more looks definitely go his way when Eichel is out. He's now got 7 goals here in his past 10 games, averaging around 12.5 DraftKings points per game, but this is someone who's got 20, 25, even 30 plus DraftKings point upside. I then got Blake Wheeler Wheeler there of the Winnipeg Jets, who's been great this year, 26 points in 28 games, but particularly good in his past 10, where he's racked up 5 goals, 9 assists, 14 points, and shooting the puck at a lot higher rate than normal too, averaging around 3.5 shots on net per game, and averaging close to 16 DraftKings points per game, essentially 3x value at this current price. He's currently playing up on that first line in number 1 power play. He's actually got 5 power play points here over his past 10 too, so at $5,500, I think he's a really good value play, and I don't mind the matchup at home tonight against the Nashville Predators. Now you can see I kind of talk about this in the notes off to the right hand side, but I'm not really in love with the value forward plays tonight. Anywhere from the 2 to 4K range is far from my favorite, to say the least. I don't mind Dawson Mercer here. He's got 18 points in 29 games, 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points in his past 10, so he's getting on the score sheet at a decent rate. This is primarily an opportunity play, though, playing on that second line with Jack Hughes and playing up on that number 1 power play in a good matchup at home tonight against the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, I think Mercer should probably be priced closer to $4,200, but I'll still play him at this price here. And then I got Frank Vatrano there of the Anaheim Ducks. Now, this is purely a tournament or GPP play for me. I would not touch him in my cash lineup, but I do like the matchup on the road here tonight against the Montreal Canadiens, who've allowed 3.45 goals per game this season, the 10th most in the NHL, and they're also playing on back-to-back nights after having lost to the Ottawa Senators 3-2 last night. Now, we should see Vatrano play up on that first line tonight with Troy Terry and Ryan Strome, as well as get time on that number 1 power play. Look, he's only got 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 points through 30 games this year, but he is not afraid to shoot the puck, so I could foresee myself doing a little mini stack with Troy Terry, for example, being that they play 5-on-5 together and play up on that number 1 power play. Again, considering how good the matchup is against Montreal, but purely GPP, folks. Wouldn't touch him in my cash lineup. Now, moving over here to the defensemen, and there are some quality top-tier defensemen on this slate, but there's a lot more value at this position compared to the forward position, so I'll likely be spending down for defense for the most part, but one guy I would be willing to pay up for is John Carlson. I've talked about him quite a bit actually over the past week and a half because he's playing some really good hockey right now. 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points in his past 10 games, averaging around 3.5 shots on net per game, and close to 2.5, 3 block shots per game as well. So he's really racking up DraftKings points in a number of different ways, and that has translated to him averaging around 15.5 DraftKings points per game over his past 10, but this is a guy who's got 25, 30 plus DraftKings point upside. I then got Victor Hedman there of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, to be honest, Hedman has not been at his best this season, which is why he's priced here at $5,700. This is a guy who floated in the 7K range most of last year, but he has started to play better here as of late. He's now got 4 assists here in his past 4 games, was recently promoted back up to that number 1 power play, and playing around 22 minutes per game. And again, I just like this matchup here in general tonight against the Columbus Blue Jackets. You could stack up Hedman with any one of those guys on that first line, or really anybody on that number 1 power play. Now, getting into some of these value defensemen that I like, first one I got there is Kevin Shattenkirk of the Anaheim Ducks. Just talked about how much I like this matchup on the road for them tonight against the Montreal Canadiens, and Shattenkirk has been very solid here as of late. He's averaging 10.3 DraftKings points per game over his past 10. Not bad at all for a guy priced here at $3,600. We're going to see him log around 20 minutes here tonight, get time on that number 1 power play, and play on the penalty kill as well. And then wrapping up the defenseman there with Daniil Miromanov, being that Shea Theodore and Alex Pietrangelo are both on the IR right now. We're seeing Miromanov play up on that number 1 power play for the Vegas Golden Knights. He actually had 2 power play assists in his last game, scored a goal 2 5-on-5, and racked up 26 DraftKings points. I'm not banking on that every night, but if he's going to be logging around 19 minutes and getting time on that number 1 power play, I absolutely like him at this price here at $2,700, especially considering the matchup against the Chicago Blackhawks. And then I got a couple of goaltenders there for you, a higher priced and lower priced option. First guy I got is Linus Ullmark. I've talked about him so much this year, but he's now 17-1-0 on the season, just a ridiculous record with the goals allowed average of 1.83 and a save percentage of .938. Great numbers there as well, and he's got 15.1 goal save above expected this season, the second best in the NHL. And then a lower price GPP play that I like is Craig Anderson of the Buffalo Sabres. Now he's just 6-4-1 on the season, not the best record by any means, but he does have some solid numbers otherwise. A goals allowed average at 2.71 and a save percentage of .921. That's what I'm really focusing on, and 4.1 goal save above expected. Now look at this Colorado Avalanche team. They are getting a little healthier now. Nichushkin is back, Lehkonen is back, but outside of their first line and top defensive pair, this is still not a team that really scares me right now. And as always, going to wrap up the spreadsheet here with 3 low-priced options or sub-4K forward plays. Like I said, not my favorite slate when it comes to value forwards, but I still wanted to give you 3 guys here. First being JVR of the Philadelphia Flyers, currently playing on the second line in #1 power play. Has actually been pretty solid this year, albeit he's played just 10 games. He's got 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 points in those 10 games, and has hit double-digit DraftKings points in 5 of 10. Talked about Josh Anderson yesterday, but like him again tonight considering the matchup against the Anaheim Ducks, who are far from a great defensive team themselves. Anderson plays on the third line in #2 power play. He's got 3 goals here in his last 5 games, with 4+ shots on goal in 3 of those games, and he's still second on the team in expected goals. And then Brandon Saad there of the St. Louis Blues. He plays on that first line, plays on that #1 power play right now. He's got just 6 goals, 2 assists, 8 points in 22 games this season, so this is largely a boom-bust opportunity play. And then to wrap up this video here, want to talk a little prize picks with you guys. 12-game slate here tonight. These are my favorite types of slates when it comes to prize picks because we have so many different props to choose from. I got 2 that are sticking out to me here initially. First look, Alex Tuch and Blake Wheeler, both over 2.5 shots on goal, but you guys know the plan of attack. I'm going to go through these individually here, do my research, and I'll let you know my final picks in a comment below on this video, and I'll be sure to pin that comment as well. But don't forget, I am posting those in my Discord too, and if you want to join that channel, there's a link to do so in the description below. But for those of you who are new to prize picks and want to get signed up, I got a promo code that you should definitely take advantage of. When you're signing up, use my promo code GRIFF. GRIFF, and PrizePicks will give you all the way up to a $100 match deposit. Now again, you do not have to put $100 in. You want to put in 50, they'll match 50. You want to put in 10, they'll match 10. They will match anything up to $100 as long as you're using my promo code GRIFF. GRIFF upon signing up. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great day here, folks. Let's win some money on this 12-game slate. In the meantime, I'm out of here.